Good evening, dear students. Our current topic of discussion is vector potential. See, what is the meaning of vector potential? First of all, I'll tell you with the help of this equation A. In this equation, you are watching that if curl of a vector is taken, it gives me another vector which is B vector. Now here B represents the magnetic field. It's a symbol for the magnetic field. Vector potential is simply defined as the vector A, means this one, whose curl means the cross product of the vector with del operator, means whose curl gives me the magnetic field at any point. Such a vector quantity, that is A vector, is known as a vector potential. So in this equation A, my B is magnetic field at a given point and A is the vector potential at that point. So vector potential's curl means del cross A is giving me the magnetic field at that point. That means A vector is known to be a vector potential. Now let us derive the expression for this vector potential. We know according to Biot-Savart's law, which you have done earlier in your lower classes, Biot-Savart's law is nothing but a law which is used to find magnetic field at a point in the vicinity of a current carrying conductor. So I have taken the Biot-Savart's law into account to find out the magnetic field, means the small magnetic field dB at a distance r from a current element IDL vector. Means I have taken a loop or a surface whose small length element is dl. So current element becomes IDL vector. So I have taken a point P at a distance r from that current element, so that the small magnetic field due to this small current element IDL at distance r vector becomes equation number 1. This is nothing but the Biot-Savart's law. Now in this equation, I want to replace this length element, means the current element in terms of length, by volume element, means the volume current element. Alright, now what do I do? Instead of current element IDL vector, consider the volume distribution of the current, means the current is distributed over the volume, so that for a volume dV, I can write dV is equal to S into dl. How this expression comes out to be? Now see students, if I have taken suppose a conductor, say of copper wire, alright, copper wire whose cross sectional area is S and its small length element is dl. So that small length element dl whose area is S, the volume of that small length element dV is given by area into the length element, means S into dl. So area into length always gives me the small volume element. So where S is the surface area of enclosed volume. Now this equation IDL, this can be written as I divide and multiply by S, means the area, into dl. Now what is this current per unit area? This becomes J, the current density J. So Js into dl vector. Now here my dear students, my current and length and area. See what I have taken? The current I and the area S and length L. They all are directed in the same direction. Say suppose they are directed along x-axis. Then what happens? Current element is along x-axis. Area vector is taken as along x-axis because cross-sectional area is always along the length. And the same direction is taken as for the current element, IDL vector. So this equation can further be rewritten as IDL vector is equal to, just remove vector notation from dl and put it on J vector. Because see, I have taken over here in a specific note that if A vector and B vector are in the same direction, I can write A into B vector is equal to A vector into B. Means scalar A into vector B. It must be equal to vector A into scalar B. It is always the same. So I have taken the same property of the vectors which I have applied over here in equation number 4. So now what is your S into dl? According to equation 2 it is dV. So I into dl vector becomes j vector, see j vector, sdl means dv. So now I can replace equation 5 in my equation number 1. Ideal vector can be replaced by j dv vector. So I'll get equation number this. Now taking the constants out, mu naught upon 4 pi, j vector cross r vector upon r cube, dv outside. This makes my equation number 6. Now I wish to find out the total magnetic field at point P, which is at a distance r, due to this complete volume. So integrating on both sides with respect to V, I'll get the magnetic field B at the given point due to whole of the current carrier conductor. So I'll get this type of equation. Now here r vector upon r cube can be replaced by minus del vector of 1 upon r. This is the topic which we have already used in some articles and which we have proved earlier. The same property, del vector of 1 upon rn raised to the power is equal to minus n r vector upon r the power n plus 2, where n you can put over here as 1. So del vector of 1 upon r is equal to minus 1 r vector upon r cube. I'll getting the same quantity as is given by this equation. So my this equation becomes as like this. Now see what happens. Consider an identity del vector cross j vector upon r. This is same as del cross c a vector. C is a scalar, means here 1 upon r is a scalar and j vector is a vector quantity, and both are position dependent, means they are not timely constants. They are not depending upon time, but they are depending upon position. And del vector, of course, is a position dependent coordinate. That is why I have to differentiate del vector of j vector and 1 upon r. So what I'll do, first 1 upon r as it is, del cross j means derivative of j vector, cross you have to keep the same, then plus. Now j vector cross j vector as it is, del vector of the scalar means del vector of 1 upon r. So now see, here I have already told you that my steady current density, that is current density J, is of course depending upon the position coordinate, but it is independent of time. So I'll get del cross J equal to 0 for the steady currents. So in that case, if del cross J becomes 0, this equation reduces to this equation. Now inverting the cross product, because cross product is anti-commutative, take here as negative sign, you can write it here as J cross del of 1 upon r. Now you can use equation number 8 in equation number 7. So right hand side, this integrand, right hand side with the negative sign, this integrand can be replaced by del cross j vector of 1 upon r. So my equation 7 becomes this one. So from here I can remove del cross outside, keeping the rest quantity as it is. So now replace this bracketed quantity with a. I'll get b is equal to del vector cross a vector. So what is my a vector here? It is given by this mu naught upon 4 pi j vector upon r dv, means the vector potential. If I want to write j vector into dv in terms of length, the same equation j vector dot dv can be replaced by ideal vector. Alright, so I'll get the same equation in terms of current element. This represents the equation for the vector potential. Now let us take its divergence. What I'm going to do is taking divergence on both sides. Divergence is nothing but dot product of the given quantity with del vector. So taking divergence, del dot a left hand side, right hand side becomes this. So move the del vector dot inside, I'll get equation number 10. Now my dear students, applying this Gauss divergence theorem, which is divergence of a vector quantity, the volume integration is equal to the closed surface integration of that vector quantity, means j vector upon r, over the surface S. So on the right hand side, I'll replace the right hand side by the right hand side of equation number 11. So using 11 in 10, my equation becomes this one, equation 12th. Now here I want to tell you something, that since the surface integral is over the whole surface, I have taken the whole conductor into account, whose area is S. Now if the surface is infinite, means surface is of large length, its area is large, and current is finite, and finite amount of current is flowing through the conductor. This is because current density J vector is a point quantity. We have already done this in your first semester, that current density is always a point quantity, means I can measure J vector at any point inside the conductor. So we can define J vector for a point in the conductor, on any point in the conductor. So for such a point, whole surface is supposed to be of infinite dimensions. So in that case, my J vector becomes 0. See, J vector is always current per unit area. So as compared to J, S is taken to be infinite. So I'll get I upon infinite means 0. So if J vector comes out to be 0, the right hand side of this equation 12 becomes 0. That means nothing but the divergence of a vector potential which is giving me magnetic field is always equal to 0. This is about the divergence of the vector potential. I hope you find this video very easy to understand. If still there is any doubt, you can talk to me anytime. Thank you so much.